I would say that academic institution is really the inception of innovation. This is where true innovation begins. Because when you think of a large corporation, take Mahindra, or take Tata, or take Google, or take J&J, for this large corporation, it is very challenging to sustain innovation. Innovation is almost a culture. Innovation is almost a DNA. And when you grow as a company with many bodies, many entities, it's becoming much more challenging to sustain that. And the fact of the matter is most corporations recognize that, and they're actually looking to have access to innovation from academic institutions. Now, you can say there are many startups. You can actually get innovation in startups. It's true. But the challenge with startups is the fact that most startups are being funded by venture capital money. The investment model of venture capital is very challenging. Essentially, I would even dare saying that it's broken, because most of them are really not returning the IRR, internal rate of returns, that they've promised to their shareholders. It's a fact. In fact, the top 10 are the top 10, and the rest are far behind. So it's a very challenging business model, the venture capital, and as a result of that, VCs are looking to invest in things that can be translated into commercial product in a relatively short term. Okay? So who is going to do the basic science? Who is actually going to develop the next penicillin? Who is going to develop the drug for cancer? Who is going to develop the drug for Alzheimer? Academic institutions. So that's our place in the ecosystem. I mean, we're not here to develop the next app for the iPhone, but we're here to develop the next, the making cancer to a chronic disease as opposed to a deadly disease, as it is today. We're actually closing our fiscal year in September, so it's been a very productive year. We're being measured here as the Business Engagement Center of Tel Aviv University, which is the largest research institution in the state of Israel. We're actually measured here on two primary things. Number one is the number of licensing transactions we're actually doing. And licensing transaction can either be in the form of an agreement with a multinational company, or actually establishing a new startup company. So it's either one of the two. And the second key success criteria is the amount of money we bring back in to support further research and to support the university. Those are the two indications. So we're finishing a very good year in this regard. We actually have a record high of licensing deals we've signed. I can tell you that in general, we sign between 25 to 35 licensing deals a year. We have between 120 to 150 requests for new patents that are being submitted by our scientists. And about half of them gets translated into an actual patent, a US patent. And we sign about 25 to 35 licensing deals every year. Cataract, glaucoma, and dry AMD, we actually licensed a small molecule that can potentially heal those three diseases. And definitely stop the deterioration, and in some cases could potentially heal that problem. That's a major, major thing if it's going to be successful. It's in phase 1, okay, but if it's successful, it has a tremendous potential. I'll give you another example from the other side of the spectrum. We have a group of scientists that invented the next generation camera. You have a cell phone? You have a cell phone? You have a camera on your cell phone, right? So think about it this way. Your cell phone is today it's very good in taking pictures. Over time, it will be very good in sensing. So think about the following. You go to the store, you see a watermelon. You can take a picture of the watermelon, and the hyperspectral capability of the camera will be able to tell you if the watermelon is fresh or not. okay? Another example, you want to buy milk for your kid. And you can actually take a picture of the milk and see if it's authentic, if it's not, you know, compromised or in any way. So that's the kind of where technology is going, and I'm happy to say that Tel Aviv University certainly has a lot at stake in this game, and a lot of contribution, I would say, at this game. I became the CEO of a company named RTSet. And RTSet was an Israeli company which was a spin-off of a flight simulation company. So we had a company that had a flight simulator, and it's a graphic, you know, real-time graphics. And they decided, they were kind of thinking of how to branch out from this military kind of application, very limited market in size, to a more mass product. And they said, why don't we go to the broadcast market? And we looked at the screen and we said, wait a minute, look how much graphic there is on the screen. It's the still store, the digital video effect, the character generation. All these devices actually can be replaced by our technology. So we went and bought Peak Broadcast, which was a company from TV2 in Norway. We merged the two companies. And they brought us the broadcast graphics capability. We brought the virtual studio, and we made one company. I came up with this ugly name, Vizrt. It's not the best name, but it's visualization real time. And the rest is history. The company actually was sold just about 6 or 12 months ago to a major Nordic private equity. But it's one of my pride. Yeah, I built this company. For me, India is become almost a passion, because when I took over this position 3 years ago, I realized that I need to raise a fund that will allow me to bridge the gap between the basic science and the commercializable value of the asset. And I was looking for a strategic partner. I was looking for it in the US, I couldn't find. I was looking for it in Europe, I couldn't find. I looked for it in China, I couldn't find. I looked for it in India, and I did find. I signed a deal with Tata. And Tata, you know, I came to India for the first time on January 13. I think it was January 1st or 2nd, 2013. Mr. Ratan Tata just finished his chairman tenure, and Mr. Cyrus Mistry took over. So Mr. Cyrus Mistry joined or took over the position on January 1st, and on January 8th, I had a meeting scheduled with him and the rest of his board. And I must say that from the minute I got on the car at the airport that picked me up from the Taj Hotel, all the way to the entrance, what struck me is the commitment of Tata to the society, to the community. And I found out an amazing organization. Tata became the lead investor. They're now actually actively supervise the investments we're making. They have negotiated rights, certain rights, to get access to some technologies in certain areas. But I couldn't pick a better partner.